But we want to share with you a couple things that were going around the world in terms of sanctuary. And we want to do this probably every week because, we'll see how it goes, but it's important that everybody knows what's going on around the world, because many times we're in isolation. Here in America, we only know what's going on in America. And even if you're not on Richard Panzer's weekly conference call, then you don't even know what's going on in America, let alone know what's going on in Korea, let alone what's going on in Japan. And you don't see what is actually happening with the establishment on the microcosm. We see, of course, we can see on the macrocosm how it's collapsing, how things are moving. But every week we hear it because we get the actual reports. We get to see the pictures of the demonstrations. We get to see these things. And then we can physically be able to, determine how fast that organization is collapsing, how fast it is crashing. David, here, give me that, please. Thank you. So we have just a couple things that happened this week that, of course, we want our sanctuary members to know worldwide. And these are not going to be things that are this is just a week by week basis. But I want to share with you some of the things that are happening this week. There are certain things that come out in the international meeting that, due to some people's issues, we cannot put out in the public until they, for example, come out, right? So there's some people that say, we're coming out in a couple, but we need just like 2 months or something, And so that obviously we won't talk about those kind of things and let them do it for themselves. So we will respect people's, need for preparation or, to do some things before they come out, etc. But in Korea, for example, we were reported to that Hyung Kim, who is one of the traitors, one of the ones that stayed silent when the Han mother said, pull the plug. He is, of course, giving the lectures, and the Association of Former Pastors, which is 100 members, has been attacking Sanctuary, publicly putting out letters saying that people should not watch Sanctuary videos, they're very dangerous. If we had government control, we would be censoring them as fake news, don't listen to them. You see how they overlap, the micro and the macro? One of the leaders in that meeting gets up, and he will come out soon, but one of the leaders come out and says, hey, you guys got to stop this stuff. You got to stop criticizing them and do this because you have no evidence. You're only 100 ministers. You don't represent our entire group. You don't represent the seniors in our church in Korea, and you guys cannot speak on behalf of us, and it's really just 3 or 4 of you who are actually writing those memos and saying it's all 100 of you, and you can't really represent us as the elders. So now they're having in their lectures, as they try to press their propaganda upon people and tell people, don't watch Sanctuary, don't listen to the videos, don't watch the internet, don't you dare, otherwise lest you be taken over by Satan. Do not listen to Sanctuary and the YouTube videos. Now, Sanctuary brothers and sisters have distributed 635 copies of Father's Words at 6 family fraud locations, including the Chunbokgung Church. So now members, and remember, these are not things we're organizing. We don't have any legal control over these churches. They are able to freely gather and freely organize in the way they see fit. They published a book in Korea called The Tears of True Father, where they explain, for example, the 3 kingship providence, the failure of the Han mother, and the victory of Donald Trump. They explained that. Did we give them that material? No. They wrote it, they put it together, and they're doing their own research, doing their own study of Father's Words, putting together the text, and then distributing it. And now people are reading those texts, and they're saying, holy shmita, I'm going to Sanctuary. I need to get blessed. Asked by the assistant pastors to stop, but the Sanctuary Church members persuaded them that it was good to do so. The family fed lecturer said that it was amazing that Sanctuary Church members were passing out Father's Words with such joy. Apparently, when they come out of the family fraud churches, everybody is like, oh, what's going on? Oh my goodness, what is going on? And we have the people from Sanctuary are passing out Father's Words, and they're passing out, and they're joyful, and they're filled with the Holy Spirit, and they're out there in the cold, but they're joyful. Regional leaders came out and asked him to stop, but his sister said, you're not qualified to tell us to stop. If you continue, I will go inside the church and pass out Father's Words inside the chapel. So now the normal citizens of Cheongguk are standing up against the stupid establishment and the tyrants. You see, the regular member now is now willing to say to the district leader, screw you to the wall, I am going to pass out Father's words, which is wonderful. That's really great. That, of course, is spreading in different places across Korea. 7 will attend the Cheonryung Palace opening, 14 official sanctuary churches, 17 sanctuary Hundoke churches in Korea now, 31 now in total in the nation of Korea. So now there are places for people now to actually return to and to connect with. Out of 300 leaders meeting, 300 leaders met the Han mother when she was returning from the U.S. One of the leaders said, and this shows you the sycophantic culture, the lying culture, what is it? The snake-tongued, two-fork-tongued, worm-tongued culture. And this is what one of the leaders says to make mother boast in herself. Mother went beyond father. There's a quote. Mother went beyond father by declaring herself only begotten daughter in the U.S., which father was never able to do. This is what he says. What? Okay? So the credibility, it sounds like some kind of villain from Star Wars or something. We must stop the rebellion. Her Han mother declared went beyond father, saying she is the only begotten daughter. Credibility among members declines with these kinds of sycophantic statements. And so it shows you the type of culture that she's surrounded with. She's completely in a bubble. It's exactly what we told her. We told her she should be completely in the bubble, that these sycophants will completely usurp her and take her and exploit her, which they are doing. And of course, as their monetary and financial strength is collapsing, they are now forced to engage in more corrupt activity and or selling public assets, which then shows members and exposes them even further, and then makes people move towards sanctuary. Reverend Yu will give OSTP seminar starting December 17th. That's already done. He's already given the next lecture publicly now, and he's coming on tremendous attack. Reverend Yu is one of the very few in the beginning to actually come under Father's authority, to admit that he was a sinner, to admit he was a traitor. He actually had to sign a public letter saying that he betrayed and supported the usurpation with the Han mother, which he did, and he has now been given the OSTP seminars, and he now has done it again. He's been threatened, of course, many, many times, saying that, you shouldn't be doing this, why are you doing this, etc. It's a shame, it's dishonorable, in Korean they use 폐륜자 or 불효자. 폐륜 means like, you are utter disgrace to our family. They say that of me all the time, but now they're saying that by Reverend Yu. But he says, screw them to the wall. I am going to teach what Father taught me to teach, and I will teach the OSTP seminar. And he's teaching the OSTP seminar, and he's saying in the OSTP seminar very clearly that true parents, there is a subject and object, and the Han mother is completely off. She's off the farm. She has left true father. He is now saying that publicly in the OSTP lectures. From Japan, we have lots of things going on in Japan every week, huge things, big leaders coming out, middle level to upper level administrators coming out of very large church areas, which sometimes we can't disclose until they come up completely public. But we have now normal members, who had to pay $14,000 to be blessed under the fake blessing. They have to pay $14,000 to be blessed under the fake false blessing, are now getting the courage and the balls to go and say, I want my money back. They are forcing the family fraud to get 20 payments of $700 each to get their $14,000 back. So we encourage anybody who's received the false blessing, the false holy wine, you've been forced to, and you've been exploited to pay $14,000, get your money back. Go and demand you get your money. Come to True Father's authority. You can get the blessing for free with the actual successor and the heir and the kingship of Cheonryung. You can get the blessing for free. It's about your eternal soul. All you have to do is get your money back from Family Fed. So all these kind of things happening in Japan. So people on the ground are now starting to move, starting to stand up for their rights. See? Stand up for their rights. They're starting to all this talk about Freedom and liberty and responsibility versus tyranny is getting the people to think about their rights. Do you see, folks, why it is so important to understand discernment in politics? So important. 176 couples blessed so far since last February. There are 87 now sanctuary lifeboats in Japan. 87. That is now, how much is that? That's almost a third to close to a half compared to family fraud. So now every place where there's one family fraud church, now they have a competition. They have a sanctuary which now people can go to. And so now they have to deal with real competition, and they have to deal with competition where people are honest and they are there to preach God's words and to tell the truth and not to tax farm the people. Christian Zebra from Europe has a couple different, a whole bunch of different reports from different countries. Here are some of the highlights. Some brothers and sisters in Scotland, I believe, was it Scotland or was it England, at a FFWP service that said that Mother's Holy Wine is not correct and that we must be blessed through the second king. They're now saying that at family fraud services in Europe. So you can see the revolution is pushing towards in Europe. 2 new couples in Finland want to receive the sanctuary blessing. This week, we'll have our French leader, Michel Bouvet, is coming to sanctuary in PA on December 29th. Now you understand, we call them the France leader or the national leader, but you understand, we don't have a centralized organization. I don't control any of those people's ministries. They have separate ministries, but we are united because they're under True Father's authority. Amen. Okay? And they understand that True Father gave me authority, so on theological matters, they will take my opinion over their opinion, right? Because I am the appointed successor and heir. So that is how we are united. We're united by faith and by the connection to True Father, not by organization. They are able to do financially what they're going to do. They're able to do legally what they're going to do. We don't order them to do this, do that. We don't order them to do this, do it. If they want to do Hundo Care readings with certain groups, they can do it. If they want to do protests, they can do it. We don't tell them. We do not control from the central station. You can and cannot do this. No, you are free and responsible peoples. You are accountable before God. You have the truth. Father has given you the word. You are connected to the successor. You must use your conscience to behave and act accordingly. We are not going to mandate you what you can and cannot say and what you can and cannot do. You see what I'm saying? That's a totally different, obviously, situation. In South America as well, we have 2 sanctuary blessed couples that are pregnant and 2 sanctuary couples completed a 3-day ceremony last month. Let's give it up for them. In Oceania, we have Gunther and Yumiko Kersling joined us from Queensland, and they thanked the kingship for liberating the unborn, and they actually met. They met their 2 unborn children in dreams that they had since the ancestral liberation. So many couples and people around the world who had forgotten about the actual life of their children because they had a miscarriage or something like that, are now naming their children and including them in their family and then in their prayers, etc., and many times are being visited by those children. In America, of course, the best way to do it is just attend Richard Panzer's weekly meetings and see what's going on. But there's, of course, some second gen who attended the Han Mother speech at EG and said that she only spoke about herself. And I left completely empty, is the quote. And of course, other young people went to the Han Mother speech saying that the first thing she talked about was that she was the only begotten daughter and did not mention True Father even once. So as people more and more get to see for themselves what the establishment, what the archangelical hierarchy, what the usurpers stand for, they can see. There's a clear picture night and day. What do you stand for? Do you stand for dishonor? Do you stand for corruption? Do you stand for hierarchies? Do you stand for centralized institutions? Do you stand for tyranny? Do you stand for totalitarianism? Do you stand for censorship? Do you stand for total centralized control? Or do you stand for Father's kingship, Father's choice, Father's words, Father's successor, Father's local 통반격파. 통방벽파 means local home church, local sovereignty, local empowerment. Okay, decentralized. We do not control those organizations or churches. They decide. They have full authority to decide what they will do. Now, since they've been in the hierarchy so long, Do you think I get questions every week? And, oh, Hyung, can you give us permission to do this? I say, I don't need to give you permission to do that. You must pray about it. You must ask Father. You have His words. You have my guidance every week. You do not need to ask me for permission. You must act with freedom and responsibility. That's my response to everybody who asks me whether or not they can get permission to do something or not. So we see these kind of things happening on the microcosm scale. You see family fraud trying to label us as fake news, label us as, you shouldn't see or censor them. Don't look at them, don't look at them. And at the same time, you see the macrocosmic now trying to prepare lawsuits against some of the alternative media, like Drudge and or InfoWars and Alex Jones. The macrocosm trying to prepare different lawsuits that say that those organizations or those freedom-based movements are inciting violent riot or inciting upheaval within the United States and trying to go after them legally. Well, you see the same happening on the micro. Look who is trying to sue me now. This is from what is it? Nishitoga? What does that say? Nishikaga? Can you zoom in on that? Tech team, can you zoom in on that? Norishige Kondo, Director of Legal Department for Family Federation World Peace Unification Japan. So now the Japanese church is trying to legally threaten me. Of course, this is for the Minister Hyung Moon at the World Peace. Look, oh, they got the address correct. Look at that. And I am writing on this letter on behalf of the Family Fraud of Japan. On September 4th of this year, you gave your church, you criticized FFW's Japanese church for the following statements, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That in that area, people have committed suicide, and boom, boom, boom. They are, people that committed suicide in that region. So, because I said those statements, which were reported to me, okay, zoom in on this, please. As FFW for your church email on September 12th of this year, your speech above is not based on facts and is a serious infringement of the honor of FFWPJ. Its believers in the email, FFWPJ, demanding your church to eliminate the video from the internet, make a video in which you recant your speech and make an official apology to FFWPU. However, your church has not yet done anything of the sort. Your church has already had enough time to confirm whether your speech was correct or not. Now, FFWPUJ requests that your church does the following. Number 1, eliminate the video of your speech from the internet. Number 2, make a video in which you recant your speech and make an official apologies to FFWPUJ. 3, upload the video mentioned in Number 2, in the same way your church uploaded the video of your speech mentioned above, so that people can recognize your mistake and that FFWG and its believers can restore the honor that was infringed by you. Because your church has not responded to the email yet, FFWPJ is preparing to take legal actions in case your church ignores this request. FFWPJ asks you to respond to the letter within 2 weeks after you receive it, and they cite it. Let me tell you what we're going to do. We're not going to remove anything from the internet. It's going to be right there for everybody to see. There is nothing, you can't, and let me apologize. I'll apologize for this. We'll apologize here. I am so sorry that you're so dishonorable and so discredited that the only thing you can do is come after people who tell the truth. I'm so sorry that you blast your own self and shoot off your own foot by coming after the successor and heir by True Father, who has been telling all the members for the last 3 years the reality that the Han mother has left the farm and that she has fallen. The reality is that as your crumbling organization dilapidates and is imploding from inside and from outside, the only thing you can do is try to bully yourself upon others legally. So, what we say to you is, we're sorry that you're so stupid. We're sorry that you're so inept. We're sorry that you're so pitiful. We're sorry that you're so pathetic. We're sorry that you're so usurperous. We're sorry that you're so dishonorable. And we're sorry that you actually believe that you love True Father when you have betrayed him. You have desecrated him. You have stood with people that dishonored him, that have erased him. And you are nothing but totalitarian frauds. And you go down in history as losers and pathetic sellout prostitutes to power and position who have no sense of humanity and or love for God. These people are so pathetic. If you try to sue me, go ahead. Do what you're going to do. What are you going to sue me on? You got nothing. You got absolutely nothing. Pitiful. But you can see again that the micro and the macrocosm moving at the same rate, moving at the same exact time.